Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. I hope you had a beautiful Easter weekend, got to spend time with your family and friends and really reflect on the holiday. And today it's back to work. After having family yesterday and church services, Monday has turned into a busy time for us. We've got calves still arriving. This last week we had 3 brand new babies born. One of them was the cow that that I told you about that had the little calf last year that had the hoofs that curled under. And so we were really watching her. She was out here in the pasture behind you guys where we could really keep an eye on her. She was monitored the whole time. And she went in to deliver her baby, and we had her in a place that we could get her into the head gate and help her, assist her with the birth if needed. But she did really well, and she was able to have her baby. It's a beautiful little Angus bull calf. And then we had a little red calf, a Dachshund calf, which would make it a crossbred Beefmaster. And then we had another little heifer born in another pasture. So last week I got 2 little bulls and a heifer, and this morning I had another one born. It was a little bull calf. And so we've got new life continuously arriving on the farm, and that makes us excited. For all of y'all that had ham for Easter dinner yesterday, I hope you saved your the bones and that you're going to make a nice bone broth and can it up. That's what I've got going in the house in my roasting pan, and it'll cook down slow for the next day or so and get really good and rich and hearty. And I'll be canning that up this week. We're on day 5 with our Amish friendship bread. So those of you that saw that video, so today is just a matter of stirring the batch, and tomorrow, day 6, we'll feed it by adding a cup of flour, a cup of sugar, and a cup of milk, and continuing on until we stirring each day until we get to day 10, and then we'll come back together and we'll bake that bread off, show you how it's done. Today what I wanted to talk to you about was stretching your meals. Now, we all know with all of the things that are going on with supplies and with prices going up and with all of the craziness that's going on, we're trying to do everything that we can to stock our pantries, look well to the ways of our household, and to also come up with meal plans that will help us to feed the people that we're responsible to feed, or the people that come in that we want to feed. And sometimes we have questions of how we can make this little bit stretch. Now, there's a way that you can make meat stretch when you're making tacos, and you're making meatloaves, and you're making all these different things, stretching it by using rice and beans and other means. But that's not really what I want to talk to you about today. I want to show you another way when you sit down to dinner with your families or to supper with your families and others that come in, how you can stretch the food that you have to feed more people. Now, my family did this the whole time I was growing up, and some of you probably do the same thing. The best way that I found to really stretch the items that's on the table before your family is something that my granny did, my mama did, everybody that I grew up around did for their families. And it's simply having these things on the table to give people options when they sit down. So my first suggestion would be peppers. Now, these are sweet cherry peppers and sweet heat jalapeno slices. Depending on your people, you might have hot peppers or some other kind of pepper relish. You can have beets. I didn't bring a jar of beets out here. I just realized, but I love beets. I think I'm the only one in my family that really likes them, so I can them up for myself. Howie always grew them for me. He said they tasted like dirt, but he grew them for me, and so I pickle those. I like to leave the small ones whole, or I will slice them sometimes. But one of my favorite ways to do them is to put them in a slicer and dice them up, and I like to put those on a salad. Any kind of pickles. Now, this is store-bought pickles, and I say put on your shelf what your family will eat. I can pickles every year I can pickles. I have my granny's recipe, and pickles is another option that you have. These are kosher deals, but they're sweet pickles. There are hamburger slice pickles. Whatever the option is, pickles is something that you can put on the table. You can put pickled okra on the table. You can put all kinds of pickled items. Now, in the springtime when the onions would be up, my granny always had green onions on the table. And I like to put them on the table. I don't have any to show you today, but I like to put them on the table. And I put them in a little glass of water standing up. And it just seems like they're fresh and neat there on the table, a way for you to present them. And we always have fresh green onions in the springtime, and then sliced onions to go along with any of our meals. I never knew my granny to set a table for supper that she didn't have onions on the table. She loved onions, and she always had them. Another thing that my family always had was some type of bread. Usually where the family I grew up in, it was either sliced bread like white bread, sandwich bread, cornbread, or biscuits. That was the three main things. And something was going to be on the table at every meal. You could just about guarantee that it was going to be there. And some of the things that they would put out there with that bread was jellies and honeys. Now, this is my home, this is creamed honey that I made this last year. But jellies and honeys and molasses and all of those things would be out there. They would have radishes and sliced tomatoes and cucumbers and onions in a vinegar and water solution. All of those things really helped my family be able to stretch what they had on the table. There was only a certain amount of meat and vegetable sides, and we had a big family. So these things incorporated helped them to be able to really make sure everybody's tummy was full, and they were getting some good food, and also making sure that they were able to do it budget friendly. Now, this is definitely not a new idea. People have been doing it for a long time. Now, home cooks are not the only people that do this. I can think of two restaurants right off of the top of my head that also have these items. They call them pass-arounds. And one of them is in Missouri, and a lot of you may have been to this restaurant. It's called Lambert's. It's a wonderful, fun place to go, and they serve delicious food. But they have the pass-arounds at the very beginning before you ever get the entree that you order. And they have fried potatoes, and they have fried okra, and they have their dinner rolls, which are excellent. And they have macaroni and tomatoes and some different things that really get you filled before this entree comes. Another restaurant that we have locally is a fish restaurant, and they offer an all-you-can-eat, and a lot of people go there to get the fish. And if you order, you get catfish and you get French fries. But before that gets to your table, they serve you coleslaw, and they serve you hush puppies and pickled spears and onion slices and brown beans. And a lot of people fill up on that stuff, and then they don't eat so much of the catfish. And they're paying the same price as somebody that's eaten 2 or 3 or 4 plates of catfish. And believe me, I've seen people do it. The ones that fill up on all of the stuff that they bring in the beginning and only eat 2 or 3 pieces of fish, they're paying the same price as those that are really filling up. And that is something that they do to save themselves money, because they're making money just the same as somebody that's eating a bunch of fish, but they're not ordering as much fish to their table because they filled up on these things. Now, of course, our mamas and our grandmas weren't out to make money. They were just out to simply stretch the meal. When they had more people come in and put their feet under the table than what they had planned for, you could almost guarantee there was always going to be a way that they were going to find a way to make sure that everybody felt full and satisfied when they left the table. And it was by putting these kind of things there for them to have. So make sure that when you're prepping all these other things, that you're putting some of these kind of things on the shelf, that you're putting pickles and relishes and beets and jellies and honeys and syrups and things that can help enhance the meal, that can help stretch the meal and save us a little bit of money. Sorry guys for all the noise. They're out in the pasture with the cows and they're bawling, and the dogs think that anytime they hear the cows bawling and the guys running out in the fields with their trucks and other equipment, that it's their responsibility to get out there and chase the cows. So I'm trying to keep them quiet. Anyway, this has been a really quick and simple video today, just to jump on here to remind you, put some of these things on the table. Don't forget cheese and your simple little fresh spring vegetables to stretch that meal out just a little bit further and help everybody to feel full and satisfied without breaking the bank. I hope this helps. And until next time, guys, this is Josie. I love you. I really do. Keep looking well to the ways of your household. We're all going to make it. Till next time, we're gone.